everyone! Today I thought I'd share with you some of my 2011 diary. I brought it out today. I've been watching people read their diaries on YouTube a bit recently, and I picked this one out because this is one that I know that I wrote very detailed into, and this is also the year that I had my first proper boyfriend, and I know that the things that I wrote were quite embarrassing, quite cringy, quite funny, so I thought this would be a good one to get out and read to you today. Now, there's like a page for every day in this diary, and some of them are really detailed. There's a lot of stories in there, so I don't really know how much of this diary I'm going to end up reading to you, but we shall find out. There's a lot of early entries in this diary about my spending habits, and I don't want to bore anybody with them. I spend a lot of time listing everything that I spent each day and things, but I think if we go on a little bit further, I start to tell stories about my family and my friends and my future boyfriend. So let's see if I can find any of those. Things to do once I go down to part-time hours. Go to St Andrews to visit Melvin and go to the Sea Life Centre. Take Melvin to Edinburgh Zoo, as he's never properly been. The only time he did go was part of a school trip. He was sick on the way, never went in, and as a result has never seen the penguin parades. I did later that year go to St Andrews with Melvin, and we went to the Sea Life Centre. That was one of our first dates. I don't think we ever went to Edinburgh Zoo together though. Yeah, and I don't know whether he's seen the penguin parade. I really don't know, but the penguin parade at Edinburgh Zoo is amazing, by the way, if you've never been. What they do is they just open the enclosure and the penguins walk in a little line just down the street, down the pedestrian area, and then they go back into their enclosure, and it's just the coolest thing ever. So yes, like if he hasn't seen the penguin parade and he's watching, Melvin, go see the penguin parade, it's amazing. I know we've talked about meeting up before, but it has to happen this time. I really miss him. Yeah, I think this was the entry in my diary where I started thinking that Melvin was going to be an important person in my life this year, and I was right. So, there we go. That's Melvin. Melvin's back in our hometown for 3 weeks. That makes me really happy. He might be having an operation this Thursday. His throat has been acting up and the doctors want to know why. But if he's well on Saturday, we'll go somewhere together. I miss him so much. It's been a long time since we properly hung out. We get it, Kate. You have a raging crush on this guy. Hurry up. Get to the point. Melvin has got his operation on Thursday, but we're still going out. I thought his mum might be a little unhappy about that so soon after him being in hospital, but he's mentioned it to her and she likes the idea. Yeah, Melvin's mum was probably onto us by now. Like, we were two most awkward people ever. Like, neither of us wanted to say that we had like a raging crush on the other one, but I'm pretty sure his mum and everybody around us could figure it out. After trying to think up places in our hometown to go to, we eventually decided that St Andrews would be more interesting. So we planned to get the bus through and spend the day there. It's crazy. I spend months wishing he'll come through to our hometown, and then the first thing I do when he does visit is take him back to uni. Seriously though, I can't wait. It's been too long. He's more than my crush. He's my best friend. This is so cringy. I can't believe we're just on like the 17th of January and I'm already being so cringy. It was true though, Melvin, before he was my boyfriend, was actually my best friend for years. Like, I tend to date from the friend zone. So yes, I knew him really well. I knew we were going to have a great time even if something didn't happen. But yeah, eventually it did. Spoiler alert. I think that happens in February though. We've still got some painful teenage wishfulness to go. Me and Melvin aren't going to St Andrews tomorrow anymore. I think he's still feeling the effects of his operation. Instead, we're going to randomly mooch around our hometown and go to the cinema to see Little Fockers. I remember this trip to the cinema so well. So well. I'm sure I'm going to talk about it in my next entry. But I remember it because we were both so awkward with each other. We both knew that we liked each other, but both of us were like too shy to say anything. And then he walked me home, and as we were just going to say goodbye, I went to give him a hug, and he went to kiss my cheek, but it was so awkward. Like, he kind of backed out at the last minute, and instead he blew a raspberry on my cheek because he just didn't know what to do. It was just so funny. And at that moment I kind of realised that we were probably going to get together at some point, but I think it still takes us another month. Had a great day with Melvin today. I had fun making him a survival kit this morning for his birthday. While we were in the cinema, his hand kept twitching as if he was going to reach for mine and then stopping. And he kissed me on the cheek as we said bye. He doesn't seem the sort to usually do this. And his best friend, Scott, was inquiring way too subtly about my relationship status. Is this all in my head? Am I overanalyzing? Or does he like me? I have no words. I'm clearly a drama queen. Let's just put it that way. Also, I have to point out that when we were in the cinema, we went to see like the most unromantic movie ever. To be fair, like there's probably, like going to see like an action movie is probably less romantic. But like a Ben Stiller comedy is not what you go to see with somebody when you want to be on a date with them. Melvin asked me out over MSN today. First he asked if our trip to St Andrews tomorrow was a date. Whether he really thought this or if this was a way to bring up the subject, I don't know. And I said if it was, I wasn't aware of it. Playing it cool, Kate. Good approach. And then he asked if I'd like it to be a date, which was a definite yes. I have butterflies in my stomach. I really hope we hit it off and it doesn't make things awkward. I really want this to work out. Oh, 2011 Kate, you're so cute and you're so in love and it's adorable. I don't speak to Melvin anymore. The way that things ended was just horrific on so many levels, but I can't deny that it was fun while it lasted. And looking back at this is all so cute. St Andrews today, we started off at the Sea Life Centre, where they now have meerkats. Yeah, like the meerkats were a new instalment when we went there. Basically, there were some meerkats that needed rehoming, and the Sea Life Centre had a spare tank, so they took them on. And now, years later, there's like meerkats in the Sea Life Centre, and it's weird and it's quirky, and I love it. Later, we went to a pub for nachos, and then to the Student Union. It was a great day. Me and Melvin didn't really hit it off, but at least I still have him as my best friend and manager of the world. Yeah, this was like a little joke we had going on. I'd forgotten about this until I saw it written down there. Basically, Melvin was so organised and he had so much going on and he had his life together and he was always so organised. So I started the joke that he was manager of the world, and whenever something was going wrong in the world or the rain was on, I'd just be like, "Hoi, manager of the world, can you fix this please?" So that was kind of our little in-joke. Yeah, we didn't hit it off that day. It just didn't feel right at the time. But as you'll find out later, it did work out eventually. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that eventually. I think I'm going to spend a lot more time talking about him before we do, though. I'm so tired. I've tried to get to bed earlier tonight. Hopefully this entry will be finished by 11 p.m. This is what I get for running around with Melvin every weekend. Speaking of Melvin, we're planning to go out for a meal sometime to celebrate my birthday. Not the weekend after my birthday though, because Nancy has invited me to her 21st birthday party on the 12th. Nancy's birthday party was on the 12th, but as you'll find out later, it was actually on the 12th of March, not the 12th of February, so I almost turned up to a party a month early. Off to St Andrews again on Saturday, weather permitting. Melvin wants to take me out for a birthday meal, and it's a convenient excuse to see him again. I want to give things another go. I'm currently calling him my boyfriend in my head. That's what I consider him as, not as a best friend or an ex. I don't think I gave our relationship enough of a chance the other week. So now I can't wait until Saturday. I'm getting to see my most favourite person in the world ever. Facts. Going on one sort of date with somebody and it not working out doesn't make somebody an ex. It doesn't, Kate. It doesn't pass, Kate. And I think I must have been reading like a romantic book or something at that time to come up with such a soppy sentence. Maybe it's just I was in love. I was in love. Like cringy teenage love. Had a lovely day with Melvin. The restaurant we went to was called the Grill House and the lunch menu was very filling. Is that all? Is that all, Kate? Don't we get any answers? I'm pretty sure this was the day that we pretty much decided to get together. And that's all I've said about him. That's all I've said about him after weeks of talking constantly about how in love I am with him. I've just said we went to a restaurant and the lunch menu was very filling. I told Mum today that Melvin is now a boyfriend. Okay, so we did get together over the weekend and all I could think about to say was that the lunch menu was very filling. Aren't I just great? Having done that, Melvin changed his Facebook status from single to in a relationship. Personally, I don't like this feature, so I've asked not to be linked to it. So he's had various questions about me. So we've just got to March, and I've realised that I've been talking for about 40 minutes now, just trying to look at this. So we're just going to finish with a little anecdote, because at this point I'd been going out with Melvin for a couple of weeks now, and it seems that people from university were under the impression that he was gay, because he like he was really hanging around with somebody at his uni as well that I like to call Awesome Hall Guy, and yeah, like they just kind of put 2 and 2 together and got 7, and they thought that Melvin and Awesome Hall Guy were a thing. So he had to clarify, and I had to like post a picture of us together in order to kind of iron out those details there, that little confusion. So there we are, folks. That was my first 2 months of 2011. Did you enjoy that? Would you like to hear more about me and Melvin and what else happened in 2011? Would you like to see me read more from this diary? Let me know down below. You could leave a like on the video, or you could maybe let me know in the comments, whichever you prefer. What were you up to 2011? Why not let me know that as well? And yeah, I look forward to reading all of your comments. And thank you very much for watching, everybody. Cheerio. I've only got to the beginning of March in that diary, and already I've realised I'm a pretty cringy person, but that makes it very entertaining for me to read and hopefully for you to listen to, so hopefully it stays that way. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Links around the screen, and I'll see you back soon. Cheerio.